Sophie, the worst is still far from over.
From above, the devastation is stark.
We actually swam across to the high-set home across the road with the dog.
Good morning, it's the Monday the 10th of February and I'm here in Townsville. It's a beautiful sunny day here. I've just arrived from Sydney here and I'm standing here at the airport. I'm just about to get a rental car, and the purpose of my journey here is to assess firsthand how the weather, the floods have affected, if at all, our properties, your properties, the team's properties. The Koala Blue team have been keeping in regular communication with me. They tell me that the overall damage is very minimal and only to a small number of properties. So I plan to just have a look at that, have a look at the estates, and just give you a general overview of what we can see here. Directly behind me is the Ross River Dam. Now they've closed it off to the public, so I can't get in there today to show you what's happening behind that green hill you can see directly behind me there. So what actually happened is obviously the dam has filled up, and the dam hasn't overflowed per se. What it has done is they've released the pressure that was behind the dam, and when they released the water, that's what had flooded a great deal of Townsville. And so that water flow went off towards the sea, and that's over there into my an easterly direction. So the suburbs adjoining the dam, Kelso, Condon, etc., they escaped it. They weren't flooded as I've just seen. So quite interesting, and you can see a couple of workers over there. They're turning the general public away. But normally this would be open to the public, and people come here and have a little bit of a picnic, and it's a bit of a tourist attraction. I'm at River Park Boulevard down here in Kelso. This actually is only a very short distance from where the dam is, but surprisingly enough, this area also escaped any flooding. It's pretty dry here, another very fine day. The grounds and the lawns look a little overgrown. The humidity here is really encouraging the plant growth. But from a structural point of view, no houses here went underwater. Must have been quite scary though for the residents living here. We tend to think it's only the ground level apartments or the ground level houses that are the ones that are affected. I was talking to a lady the other day, and she was telling me that she lived in a 7 level apartment building. She lived on the 4th floor, and she was affected by the rain. Obviously the roof of the building was leaking and it was finding its way down through all the various levels. I'm here at Fairfield Waters. It's the name of the estate. The suburb is Ardelia. This is down to the south of Townsville. It's a very good area, and this is one of the worst affected areas. You can see here all the debris that's come out of the local school, I believe, and been piled up there. Workmen here cleaning up, taking it all away. This area has been it's been hardly hit. I'm in Akenvale here in Townsville. As you can see directly behind me is the Ross River, and Akenvale was one of the suburbs that was definitely affected by the flooding. You can see that floodwaters, or the waters, came all the way right up to I'm standing directly across the street is a residential area. Now these houses here, they had water up to approximately 1 metre over there, over the ground. I actually have one of my own properties in this area, and that has been flooded. I'm just here to see for myself just exactly what damage was taking place. I believe my tenants are still here, but just it's been a little bit of a clean up. I'm here now at Calanda Chase. This also is another area that appears to escaped the flooding. Certainly got a lot of rain, but seems to be relatively unaffected because the river basically didn't flow this way. So we have a number of clients who have properties in here, so I'm just going to take a little bit of a drive around and see what I can find. But like some of these other areas that I've visited so far, there's really nothing to see here. I'm here in Condon, one of our estates in a place called Vickers Road now. Unfortunately, it's a very small estate, but it was affected. I'm not quite too sure how far the water levels have gone up. The good thing is with the landlord's insurance protection policy, it will cover up to 12 months of having no rent. Not that we expect that to happen over that length of time, and up to $60,000 worth of repairs and, or damage done to the properties. So I believe that this area flooded due to drainage, poor drains that are blocked up with debris and what have you, weren't able to clear, and the water wasn't able to escape quickly enough. And there's only a stone throw here from the river, but I don't believe the river itself caused the problem. Coming to you now from Mount Low, the Santum estate. As you can see directly behind me, that is it's a river course that the developer has put in there to ensure that the water runs away from the estate. They had no water damage out here whatsoever. They had no flooding, as you can see from the causeway behind me. It's bone dry out here. It's a beautiful day. So quite pleased to report, all looking good out here. Nothing to report. Coming to you now from Mount Louisa, Crestbrook Estate. They call it Mount Louisa for the obvious reason. We've got a mountain there in the background. So this is one of the most elevated points here in Townsville. Directly behind me, we can see the range of homes. This is all scrubby land. Looked like the surface of Mars when we first came here, which would have been nearly probably 2004. It's quite amazing how it all looks now. It's all developed. I'm in the botanical gardens here in Townsville. I was just driving by on my way back down to the suburb of Condon, and they've established not only botanical gardens here, but also a community facility called River Park. And River Park is a community centre. It has a Olympic-sized swimming pool. It's an aquatic area, restaurants and bars, and a few years ago it was, well, it wasn't even there, and they spent a lot of money developing it, and today it's one of the quite sought after areas for picnics and to take the kids over the weekend. It abuts a sporting area, playgrounds and sporting fields, so it's become quite popular, and so it verges on the suburb of Kelso and Condon and Remiston. I think that's how you pronounce it, pardon my pronunciation. And also just a short distance from here is the Townsville Hospital. It's a training hospital, so it has a lot of, it's one of the largest hospitals here in North Queensland, so it employs a lot of people, and of course they all require accommodation, preferably somewhere close by, which is one of the reasons why we have promoted this area as a good investment area because of the demand, just not only from the hospital staff, but also around the corner we have the Townsville University. Townsville, one of the main attractions. There's Magnetic Island directly behind us, named by Captain Cook because of the way the island affected his navigational equipment. Where a lot of the social activities of Townsville take place, their fireworks, military displays, helicopter, Air Force flyovers. This is actually what it's like in the winter. Just 2 seasons a year, dry and wet.
This cut is fresh.